AITA for refusing to marry the man my family chose and building the empire they said I never could? I, 24F, was born into a family where money was never a problem, but freedom always was. Our last name was known across Europe. My family owns a massive chain of luxury hotels, marble lobbies, rooftop restaurants, private jets. I grew up surrounded by power and perfection, but in our world, a daughter's future is already written before she's even born. And mine was supposed to end in a marriage, not a boardroom. My father is the definition of old money, stoic, cold, a man who measures worth in silence and results. My mother? Elegance personified, but her dreams died long ago, replaced by what my father allowed her to want. And then there's my younger brother, Alexander. The golden boy, the heir. If I so much as questioned tradition, I was emotional. When he crashed a $200,000 car at 19, boys will be boys. He'd show up at investor dinners drunk, flirt with journalists, then disappear for weeks. Still, my father always said, he'll learn. He just needs time. But when I voiced an idea about sustainability and hospitality, about rebranding to attract younger travelers, my father just smiled and said, "Sweetheart, you don't need to think about that. You'll be a wife one day." That night, I cried in my room, furious and humiliated. I started taking internships behind their backs. I wanted to learn housekeeping, reception, marketing. I worked in one of our smaller hotels under a fake name. I wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't just the heiress, and I loved it. I learned how much goes into running a business, the long hours, the stress, the small victories. For the first time in my life, I felt alive. But then, they found out. My father showed up at the hotel lobby in a tailored suit, looking furious. The entire staff froze. He didn't yell, which somehow made it worse. He just said, "Do you think cleaning rooms makes you a businesswoman? Stop embarrassing this family." And just like that, he banned me from ever stepping into another hotel again. A month later, they introduced me to Lucas, the perfect man, on paper, the son of a tobacco magnate. Tall, charming, polished. He looked at me like I was a prize. Not a person. At dinner, he said, "You'll be a wonderful wife. You won't have to lift a finger. Just raise our children." I remember gripping my wine glass so hard I thought it might crack. Later, when I told my parents I didn't want to marry him, my father's face turned to stone. "You're not rejecting the man, you're rejecting your duty." My mother cried, "You're throwing away everything we've built for you." But the truth was, they hadn't built it for me. They built it around me. Like a gilded cage. When I refused the engagement, they cut me off. No allowance, no contacts, no support. But what they didn't know was that my grandmother, the only one who ever believed in me, had left me a small inheritance when she died. Not millions, but enough to start something. In her last letter, she wrote, "If they ever try to silence your fire, build your own hearth." And that's exactly what I did. I left home with 2 suitcases and moved to the Croatian coast. I found an old villa, the kind you'd drive past and never look twice at. Cracked walls, broken windows, and a wild garden that looked like a scene from a fairy tale gone wrong. Everyone said it was worthless. I said it was mine. I slept on a mattress on the floor, worked 16 hours a day, and watched the sun rise over the sea as I painted the walls myself. My hands were blistered, my back ached, and some nights I cried because I missed hot showers and warm food, but I never once regretted leaving. When the villa finally opened, I called it the Seabreeze House. It had 5 rooms, no staff, and me doing everything from cooking to cleaning to marketing. The first guest was a travel blogger who randomly found the listing. She loved it. She posted a video, then another influencer came, then a journalist. Within a month, the Seabreeze House was fully booked for the summer. Then the story broke. Runaway heiress builds her own hotel from nothing. Daughter of luxury dynasty defies family tradition. Suddenly, people from around the world wanted to stay, not because of my last name, but because of my story. When I saw my father's name on my phone screen again, I almost didn't answer. He just said, "You've proven your point. You've done what few can, even with everything taken away." That was his version of pride. Cold, restrained, but genuine. A few weeks later, my parents visited. My mother couldn't stop crying when she saw the villa. She touched the walls and said, "Your grandmother would be so proud." My father walked the property silently, hands behind his back. Then he turned to me and said, "You've built something they'll talk about for generations. Not because of your name, but because of your courage." For the first time, I felt seen. But here's the twist. A few months later, Lucas showed up. Still arrogant, still charming, pregnant, but different. He looked around and said softly, "I came to see the woman who turned rebellion into a kingdom." He wasn't there to win me back. He just wanted to apologize. He admitted he'd admired what I did, that maybe he'd underestimated me. And when he left, he said, "You proved you didn't need a man to build your empire. But if you ever want a partner who respects that empire, I'd like to apply." I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I just smiled, because this time, the choice was mine. Now, the Seabreeze House has expanded into 3 boutique resorts. I employ over 50 women, many from small villages who were told, like me, that they'd never amount to anything. Every time I see one of them smile and say, I love my job, I think. This is the family I chose. So Reddit? AITA for refusing to marry the man my family picked and building the empire they said I never could. They called me spoiled. They called me naive. Now they call me boss.